Alright, what's going on, you guys? Welcome to Madrid Hub. Again, I'm your host, Dr. JOTA. Today, a very crucial day because we are playing against Sheriff Tiraspol. And as you know, if we win, we will be qualified for the next round of the UEFA Champions League. So what we have to do is to get the 3 points today against a rival who, in my opinion, is a very tricky rival, considering these guys beat us the other day in El Bernabeu 1-2, and nobody was expecting that kind of score because everybody was expecting for Real Madrid to win easily, but it didn't happen. They knew exactly what they had to do to beat us, and then they did. They went ahead and they did. They beat Real Madrid, and of course that can happen today again if we are not concentrated enough, focus enough in the game, or things like that. So to me, Carlo Ancelotti has prepared the game very in a very smart way, being aware of the situation and the risks that we have to take to get the 3 points. Of course, we have to go and win. We have to try to win. It is not the kind of game when you can show up and say, okay, let's see what happens. No, you need the 3 points. You have to go ahead and try to win and, shut the thing completely down and wrap it up easily and as soon as possible, right? Because that way, if you get the 3 points really quick, then you can say that you're qualified and you don't have to worry about anything else. Even the game against Inter de Milan next week is not going to be as that important, you know what I'm saying? So if you can wrap this whole thing up today, it's gonna be good. So if Carlo Ancelotti has been prepared the game, it is because he knows how important it is for us to get the qualification right quick today. Of course, it is not going to be easy. As you know, Sheriff Tiraspol is a very tricky side because these guys, you never know with them. What can happen is that we can walk over them super easily, or exactly the other way. What can happen as well is that these guys surprise us again and then win the game and again get us out of the UEFA Champions League. That is not going to happen because we still have to wait and play against Inter de Milan, but of course that would be a very much more complicated situation than if we win today. So let's see what happens. What the media is talking about right now is the starting 11, how Carlo Ancelotti could line up to the different players. What they are saying so far is pretty much that Real Madrid will have the 90% of the same players, the same names on the field, except with one doubt, which is about the right wing. Who is going to be there? Whether Rodrigo Goes, Marco Asensio, or even Lucas Vázquez, because it really depends the feelings of Carlo Ancelotti. He will line up to one or the other. For example, if he thinks the game will be really tough and tricky and stuff, he might line up to Lucas Vázquez ahead of Marco Asensio, right? But on the other hand, if he thinks the game will need the kind of skills that Rodrigo Goes can provide, or even the good performances that Marco Asensio has been having over the last weeks, then he might change his mind and say, okay, Marco Asensio will be in the lineup. But other than that, we will have the same names and the same players as usual. For example, we will have Courtois, Carvajal, Militao, David Alaba, Ferland Mendy. The midfield is going to be for Casemiro, Luka Modric, and Toni Kroos, and of course the attack will be for Vinicius Jr., Benzema, and then whether Marco Asensio, Rodrigo Goes, or Lucas Vázquez. But other than that, it is pretty much clear, the lineup. It is going to be pretty much the same that we have seen so far in La Liga. So there's no difference about that. So let's see what happens. 1 hour ahead of the game, we will know the lineup that Real Madrid or Carlo Ancelotti will display on the field. So let me move on and let's start talking about arguably the most important news that we have today, aside of the game against Sheriff Tiraspol, because it's regarding to Karim Benzema. As you know, Karim Benzema has been sentenced to 1 year in prison after all this Balbuena case and the sex tape and stuff like that. Has been sentenced to 1 year in prison. So a lot of Madridistas out there are asking themselves, okay, will Karim Benzema be able to keep playing for Real Madrid, or does he have to go to prison or jail to France to observe this sentence, or what is going to happen to Karim Benzema, right? Okay, let me tell you what. 1 year in prison, if that is the sentence, he doesn't have to go to jail, right? He can do his normal life, he can keep doing his normal life, and as long as he doesn't relapses, as long as he doesn't do any other kind of illegal thing, he doesn't have to go to jail, right? He can stay at home, he can stay in Spain, he can even travel to France, he can even play with friends and all this stuff with no problem at all. Only in the case Karim Benzema commit any other kind of illegal thing or weird thing or something like that, then he will have to go to jail. But other than that, he's kind of clear, right? He doesn't have to go to jail or something like that. And he also has to pay 75,000 euros or something like that as a fine for this case. So in my opinion, this case is completely wrapped up and is not going to have any other bad consequence or problem for Karim Benzema. He will be able to keep playing for Real Madrid with no problem. So other than that, we should be okay, fine. Nothing is going to happen to Karim Benzema and nothing is going to happen to his career in Real Madrid. I think that Real Madrid, institutionally, Real Madrid will say, okay, we respect the decision of the court in France, but that's it. I don't know. Well, I really don't know if Real Madrid will proceed with any kind of disciplinary proceeding or something like that, or will take action on Karim Benzema for this sentence. I don't know. I really don't know. But let me tell you what, nothing bad enough that can harm or I don't know, or create any kind of problem to Karim Benzema and his career in Real Madrid. So it's not going to be a big deal, right? So as far as the sentence and the 1 year in prison and stuff, we're done here. This is over and Benzema will not go to jail and he will keep playing for Real Madrid. So next one, let's move on now and let's talk about what Tomás Roncero unveiled last night, because he was replying to a kind of question and answer stuff from the fans and subscribers and stuff like that, and one of the subscribers asked him about the possibility for Real Madrid to sign Paul Pogba for the next year. But he said something really interesting, and it is the decision of Real Madrid regarding to Paul Pogba is not to go ahead and sign the player. So Paul Pogba will not play for Real Madrid and will not be signed by Real Madrid for the next year. The reason he didn't say anything, but to me, this is about Mino Raiola. If Real Madrid is aware Mino Raiola wants to get a super big chunk of the deal or something like that, that is what, in my opinion, prevents to Real Madrid to sit down and negotiate for the player. Even if the player is coming for free, Real Madrid will not go ahead and sign him just because he's agent, right? Few days ago, Miguel Serrano in OK Diario claimed the only reason why Real Madrid will not go ahead and sign Paul Pogba, it is pretty much because the guy is a little bit controversial and can create some problems within the locker room of Real Madrid, and that's why Real Madrid doesn't really like to sign Paul Pogba, or the idea to sign Paul Pogba, and that is the only reason why we are not very interested in signing the French player for the next season, even if he comes for free, right? So other than that, I'm okay with that. I really understand. But let me tell you what, to me, Paul Pogba, as long as we don't have to pay anything for him, is a very good signing. Is a guy who can provide a lot of stuff to Real Madrid because he has a lot of expertise, experience enough, flight hours enough to play in the midfield of Real Madrid. Is in the right point in the middle between players like Luka Modric or Kroos, who are more experienced and older, and Fede Valverde and Camavinga, who are younger and less experienced, right? Paul Pogba is kind of in the middle, so he could provide with a very bunch of good stuff to Real Madrid in the midfield, but apparently Real Madrid is not very interested in signing the French player for the team. So I'm okay with that. If we don't sign the player, there are more other players that might be even more interesting for Real Madrid, like Antonio Rudiger or Erling Haaland or even Kylian Mbappe or things like that. So let's see what happens. And the last news I have for you all, guys, is a couple of things. Number one, Vinicius Jr. Replying to the interest of Paris Saint-Germain yesterday when Eduardo Inda, as you remember, he claimed and Monday night in El Chiringuito, PSG is considering to throw on the table 18 million euros wage for Vinicius Jr. to sign him from Real Madrid. The thing is, Vinicius Jr. is not interested at all in signing with PSG or any other super club or super rich club or something like that, just because he's only interested in playing in Real Madrid. That's it. I mean, no deal, no beef, nothing, no drama, nothing. He wants to keep playing for Real Madrid, and he doesn't even pay attention to this kind of rumors. And the last news I have for you all guys is an article that came out from L'Equipe claiming Kylian Mbappe and his situation in the locker room of PSG has changed completely, just because after all the beef and drama in the last summer with his not signing for Real Madrid and what he said and the penalty kick that he failed scoring against Switzerland, he received a lot of criticism. He was blasted literally by different media newspapers. Apparently the teammates in PSG were not okay with that. I mean, they were kind of confused because they didn't really understand why Kylian Mbappe wanted to get out of the squad. I mean, when the squad recently signed to Leo Messi, they didn't really understand. And within all these names, within all these teammates, there was Neymar, I mean, including Neymar, who really didn't understand why Kylian Mbappe wanted to get out of PSG, right? So, but now apparently everything has changed, and according to L'Equipe, he's serving more to the teammates, and the teammates at the same time are serving more to him, so he's more valuable. They respect him a little bit more than in summer, and right now his situation in PSG is more comfortable. He feels better and things like that. But in my opinion, and okay, talking just about how can that affect to the signing of Kylian Mbappe for Real Madrid, and what is really interesting for Los Madridistas is to know if that can affect or impact to the signing of the player for Real Madrid. My opinion is no, not at all. I mean, I don't think that just because he's feeling better right now in PSG, he will change his mind and he's not coming to Real Madrid. I mean, it has nothing to do with that. My opinion is Kylian Mbappe will sign no matter what for Real Madrid as of next January the 2022nd. A different thing is, how does he feel in the locker room of Paris Saint-Germain or within his with his current teammates right now in PSG? But that's it. Other than that, he has a very clear idea about his future in Real Madrid, and in my opinion, we don't have to worry about that just because the player will end playing for Real Madrid. So in my opinion, this article is just to update the situation of Kylian Mbappe with his teammates in PSG and all the stuff. But Los Madridistas, we don't have to worry about anything, because I don't think that these kind of things will change his future for his signing for Real Madrid. So other than that, we're good, guys. Now let's see what happens in the game. I probably upload a video right after the game, analyzing every single thing, the details and all the stuff. So see you in the next video. Comment in the section below